Hello everyone and welcome back, and I hope you're all having a good day.
Hello.
Today I am doing a look
Amanda,
back at one of my
Ripley, I need
favorite
your
horror
help.
games of all time, Alien Isolation. Now I recently learned that one of my videos called Alien Isolation Trolling NPCs has some 31,000 views as of the recording of this and counting, and I figured that I'd like to talk about Alien Isolation as it is one of my favorite horror games and a game I love to revisit from time to time. Now first, a brief backstory on Alien Isolation. It was developed by Creative Assembly and published by Sega. Alien Isolation was announced in January 2014 following the disastrous launch of Alien's Colonial Marines.
I need to get into comms.
Colonial Marines
It's
is a topic in and of itself, so I will not
It's an
dwell on it, but
emergency.
needless
Don't you
to
realize what's
say,
going on?
after the accusations that the footage that Colonial Marines developer Gearbox had
Forget
shown
it.
of the
I'll find
game
my own way in.
being fake, Isolation's first showing was direct footage from the game running on a PlayStation 4, followed by impressions from journalists who got to try the game firsthand. This was clearly the first step meant to head off any doubts regarding the footage. These preview events and allowing the game to be shown off were done throughout the year leading up to
Some
the
kind
game's
of
launch
tracker.
on October 7th, 2014.
It's been modified.
It was originally released for PS4, Xbox One, PC, PS3, and Xbox 360, and later in December 2019 for the Nintendo Switch, courtesy of Feral Interactive, who also handled a recent port of the game for Android and iOS. I've had a chance to play the game on the PS4, which is the footage you're currently seeing, along with the Xbox One version, and I recently played it through on the PC for the very first time. I've also played it on the Switch, so I absolutely love this game. So getting to the game itself, Alien Isolation is set between the events of the original Alien movie and Aliens, and stars Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley. Now this isn't some random story beat to tie the game to the movie, as the character of Amanda is mentioned in the special edition of Aliens. Ellen's loss of her daughter and the bond she develops with Newt due to her being in hypersleep for 57 years is a subplot featured in the special edition. Alien Isolation is all about Amanda trying to discover the truth of why her mother disappeared years ago. That truth comes in the form of a flight
Let me
recorder
in.
that is
I
being
need to
held on a
contact my
space
ship.
station called Sevastopol, from which you quickly learn is falling apart as survivors fight for survival against the station's androids
There's
called
gotta be
Working
another way
Joes and the
inside.
alien itself. Now, the characterization of Amanda isn't deep. She's presented as a capable engineer who doesn't like violence and is driven to discover the truth of what happened to her mother. Beyond that, the player can attach their own feelings and interpretations of Amanda. The game is played entirely from the first-person perspective, save for the occasional pre-rendered cutscene. Other than that, all the other story beats happen during the gameplay itself. This is even integrated into the gameplay, as you will come across many computers with audio files and messages detailing the backstory of what happened and what caused the fall of Sevastopol by the time you arrive. And while listening to these or reading these messages, the game does not pause, meaning you are subject to attack or death from either hostile humans, Working Joes, or the alien itself. This gameplay design of keeping the player on edge at all times is even part of the game's save system. The only way to save the game is via terminals found throughout the game that resemble phone booths. When you find a terminal, Amanda will insert a keycard, and that will begin the process of the terminal reading the card. During these moments, you are again subject to attack and being killed. Only once the keycard has finished processing and the game asks you to save are you safe and your progress is saved. Speaking of attacks, Amanda can't take much damage from either other humans, Working Joes, or the alien. The alien is a one-hit kill. If it catches you, you're dead, and if the alien spots you, it charges at you in full speed, and you can't run faster than it. You can't kill the alien, you can only distract it, Scare it off with fire and hide. That's it. Alien Isolation really is survival horror at its purest. Now you can fight back against the other hostile humans and the working Joe androids, but it means using resources and making noise. And making noise in this game can and will likely lead to bringing other enemies or the alien itself. Noise can also be used against enemies such as distractions, luring the alien to attack other survivors or friendly survivors, as I did in that video. Noise can either be helpful or can cause problems depending upon the situation, and it's also why you spend most of the game walking or ducking down and sneaking so as to avoid making noise. Now, I can go on and on about the gameplay
Come on.
or the interplay of the game systems, but the game's artistic design really deserves a special mention. Given that it's set between the two best Alien films, and given how both of those movies took a 70s, 80s style approach, analog style approach to how the future looked, Alien Isolation also takes this approach. Monitors are all CRT based and everything has an analog nature about it. Computers are large and loud, and monitors display visual snow and artifacts as monitors of the day did. Environments, save for a few, are small and cramped and angular. The lighting in the game is the final touch to design, and it creates an atmosphere of dread and fear. Isolation uses its design to create an impressive world and tell a story not only through the dialogue, but through environmental cues as to what happened as the station descended into chaos. It's made all the more impressive when you consider that developer Creative Assembly was previously known for the Total War series, and Alien Isolation is about as different kind of a game as you can get. It should also be noted that the game made use of Creative's own internal engine, as opposed to a third-party engine. Another accomplishment of the team's work is the AI of the alien itself. I won't get into it too deeply, but there are two excellent videos on the AI, and you'll find them on the AI and Games YouTube channel, and I will include links to those, and they do go into detail on how the AI of the alien works. The alien will hunt you throughout the game and respond to noise or things that draw its curiosity, or if it catches a glimpse of you. It's big and loud, and the thumping of its feet will quickly become an all too familiar threat. The difficulty setting of the game largely determines how much damage and how many resources are available, and how easily enemies can spot you, and how long and how hard the alien will search for you. Alien Isolation was a rarity at the time of its release. A big-budgeted AAA survival horror game based on a beloved sci-fi franchise, and it's a game that I feel lived up to its namesake. Unlike previous Alien games that were much more inspired by aliens and treating the beast as simple cannon fodder, the Alien made a single alien the scariest of them all. Years before the game was even announced, I had always envisioned a game like Isolation in which a single alien was hunting me, but I never imagined that such a game would ever happen, and lo and behold, it has. Sadly though, Alien Isolation will probably never receive a proper follow-up. Sure, there is the mobile sequel Alien Blackout, which I recently tried in. It's okay, but it's not the game that I wanted or others wanted. It's frustrating because a sequel could be so much more. Isolation was the product of cross-gen development, so the technical limits of the PS3 and 360 had to be taken into account during its development. But a sequel using the current gen consoles as its base could really be something, thanks to SSDs now being standard and more powerful CPU and GPUs. Interactivity with the environment and more advanced AI, especially for hostile survivors, which was one of the weaknesses of the game, could significantly be improved, along with a single seamless game world free of the traditional loading times. The possibilities are endless. Sadly though, most of the original team has left Creative, and Disney and Sega don't seem interested, or at least not publicly, of bringing the series back for the time being. Now that's not to say a new team couldn't pick up the torch and carry on, but it seems highly unlikely. I think we have a much better chance of seeing the long-rumored Silent Hill game seeing the light of day before a sequel to Alien Isolation. But it's not all doom and gloom, as Resident Evil is back, and EA is remaking the original Dead Space, so big-budget survival horror lives on. If you love horror games and you haven't played Alien Isolation, I highly recommend it. As stated in the beginning, it's available on virtually every major platform. And I would say they're all excellent except for the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions. Just stay away from those, and I imagine you probably wouldn't be able to find them these days anyway, since those systems are long since dead. Um, and even the Switch version, which is really good and it loses very little in the process, it's also excellent. Now, I can't say anything about the new mobile version as I haven't had a chance to play it, but it is the full game, not some offshoot mobile-only version, and it does have controller support and full touchscreen support, and it was developed by Feral Interactive, the same developer that handled the Switch version. Finally, if you're already a fan and want to know more about the making of the game, check out the NoClip documentary with interviews from team members and those who worked on the game. And I've included a link to that. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And check out Alien Isolation on the platform of your choice. It's a great game and one that I can't recommend enough. Until next time.